So you want to be one of those super productive, on your shit morning routine girlies? Same. So let's figure it out together because I'm really just trying my best. My routine is still coming together and getting tweaked in all these different kinds of ways, but in this video I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks that I've been learning in order to have better days, and better days really do begin at bedtime. You can't have a morning routine if you don't have a bedtime routine. So let's wake up and go over my routine that I've been slowly figuring out to be successful. I'm just so tired. I just want to go back to bed. I should have gone to bed earlier. Sound a little too relatable? Do you wake up every morning and still find yourself tired, falling asleep during the day or in downtime, dozing off while watching TV or reading or commuting on the train? Maybe you have dark circles that just won't go away no matter what you try. Or you could be finding yourself not feeling the hunger that you need to finish a meal. These are all warning signs that you're in sleep debt. I wish I could tell you not to be scared, but you should be. Everyone knows debt is a 4-letter word, but when it's about your sleep, it morphs into a loss you can never regain, unlike your credit score. For myself and so many of my family and friends, we all seem to face the issues of managing a healthy sleep schedule. I think it's a fairly common concern these days that most people want to fix. The problem is we're all a bit overwhelmed by the various tasks, pursuits, and responsibilities that make up our lives. With bedrotting, TV binge watching, and procrastination all over social media right now, I think it's important to step back and evaluate why these bad habits are trending in conversation and content. Personally, I knew how important sleep was for my well-being overall and the desire to live a life in a way that feels more intentional. I'd always heard my doctor or older family members warn how essential rest is for stress management, physical health, memory, and a fulfilling life. It wasn't until I saw the very real side effects of sleep deprivation manifest that I finally felt the motivation to make the change. Identifying the need for sleep is the first step in the journey. This understanding chimed into my thoughts around the time I was graduating school in 2022. Once I knew I could no longer keep up my late night lingering, fixing it became a large focus of mine from that point on. It didn't happen overnight, as we all wish. The patterns from years of all-nighters, hangouts, and nightmares fed into my ability to push sleep onto the back burner. Unwinding it was a process of conscious actions that I had to train my thoughts and body into choosing. I think only now, in the beginning of 2024, have I really begun to solidify my bedtime habits. The reasons behind poor sleep or inability to rest vary widely due to factors such as work schedules, home and child care, mental health, and distraction. I'll be speaking on my own personal pain points and how I managed to escape the zombie days of sleep deprivation. My long-standing history as a night owl stemmed initially from my mom, who is a major night owl to this day. Hi Mom, love you. She would struggle with achieving peace or personal time due to the demands of having to care for 5 kids, working on and off, and helping my dad with running his business. I remember her often tucking us into bed and then taking up a spot on the couch with my dad to either sew or catch up on her favorite shows. When morning came and the tasks piled up, she would peel herself out of bed, brew pot after pot of coffee, and attack the day with vigor. By 12, I found myself picking up on those same habits. To me, sleep seemed like a waste of precious life. I remember proudly sporting the mottos, "Sleep is for the weak," or "I'll sleep when I'm dead," for years, as I thought this allowed me to be more productive in the undisturbed twilight time. I would push off my bedtime into the hours of 1 to 4 a.m., starting in middle school onwards, just working on things like homework, sewing my own outfits to display my personal style, or simply avoiding the nightmares I knew I would have to face in my sleep after experiencing certain traumas. This equation over time would develop into intense insomnia, which plagued me for years no matter what I found over the counter or prescribed. Fast forward to this modern age of screen time, social media, and FOMO, and I found those habits only worsening. It didn't help my schedule at all when I began to work in restaurants or late-night retail shops or graveyard shifts. That, paired with the want to keep up with my friends, had me quickly losing majority, if not all of the time I needed to sleep. It was easy to tell myself I can just catch up on my sleep tomorrow, or maybe I'll find time to take a nap. What I thought and what I felt were totally opposite. Though everyone says you can go without many comforts or structures in your younger years, I'm here to offer a rebuttal. No matter the age or schedule, a life without sleep is literally weak. So, why is sleep so important? Sleep not only gives the body a period of rest and recoup, but it also helps with the release and regulation of hormones. The essential hormones that maintain appetite, fight stress, repair cells, and tissues are all reliant on sleep. Everyone has to achieve a certain amount of sleep per night in order to have a fully functioning body and a fulfilling life. I learned how all it takes is one night of lost sleep in order to offset your body's natural cycle for up to 4 days. That's worse than the mother of all hangovers. And that fact alone is based on just losing one single hour of sleep. For people who lose more than an hour regularly, they're shown to suffer deprivation for up to 9 days. The most common signs of this choice can show as dark circles, heart health and seizures, depression, anxiety, and psychosis, hair loss, appetite, stalled development and fertility, and immunity and illness. There are many people who end up facing heart complications down the road as they cannot get enough sleep due to work schedules or lifestyle. You can develop high blood pressure, heart palpitations, and eventually heart failure. In fact, 70 to 80% of patients with chronic heart failure attribute that to not getting restful or adequate sleep. The possibility of having a stroke or a seizure skyrockets with poor sleeping patterns. Another cause for change is the fact that many people today are coping with mental health challenges. Sleep is a major healing remedy for the mind, as we know. Within 2 days of no sleep or very low sleep, you may become more irritable, impulsive in decision making, paranoid, and basically feel like you're going crazy. And that's because you are. Studies have proven how not sleeping can induce hallucinations and delusions and even schizophrenia in prolonged cases. Being sleep deprived is actually worse than being drunk. Ever hear people say to pull over and rest when on long drives and you start to feel tired or drowsy? All of these symptoms are major alerts that you have to be aware of, and from that point on, consciously change what is within your control. I know based on my goals for how I want to live my life anyway, that sleep is an important tool to help me have the best lifestyle I can. Knowing not only how I want my days to be, but how I want to feel during my days, it would be sabotage of myself to not make a change. Living life to the fullest is a huge part for me, and that is exactly what motivated me to take my bedtime routine more seriously. In the spring of 2024, I can already see how much better my days are, how much more I enjoy making plans, and how much less overwhelmed I am. But I can also really feel how these changes have improved my mentality, my happiness, and my body. Life is still life. Things aren't perfect or easy, but my changes in my routine have changed how heavy life feels. It sort of feels similar to the idea of parenting yourself. I've given myself a curfew of sorts when I cut off screen time, late night snacking, staying out with friends, and this time frame allows me to actually relax into the rest I need. I have the time and ability to refill my cup before pouring energy into a new day. I like to be active and fill my day with activities and social events, but I could talk myself out of doing these things a lot easier when I was tired. I noticed how worse sleep had shortened my workout sessions or enabled me to pick up takeout under the excuse of not having time or drive to cook and meal prep something healthy. I saw the times I spent procrastinating in freeze mode from emotions and outside factors as thieves of joy. They would steal the magic pieces of my day I'd always enjoyed, whether it be my admiration of street art in the city, the fiery glow of sunset over my cooking dinner, or my bedroom mood lighting into the evening. I can see now how I fell into the habit of operating in survival mode. I would think, okay, well, I can do this at the very least, and that's something, such as my makeup and skincare routine. An example would be how I felt too tired, busy, or unmotivated to take off my makeup before bed, follow up with a skincare routine, and at the very least, very easy method of makeup wipes allowed me to not sleep with makeup on, but it wasn't really doing my skin the service it needed by using makeup remover or treatment products. That choice only made my skin appear more dull and lifeless, which is the opposite of what I want. Me and my life are worth so much more than the bare minimum level that survival mode traps you in. And if I recognize that mentally, then I have to make it so physically too. Here I'll share some of the parts of my routine that I've seen create my idea of success. Use them as inspiration in your own life. Alter and adjust what I recommend to best fit your own needs and goals. Something I've done for years now is use herbs to enhance my well being or help with hormones. See my past article on cycle care to learn how I healed a hormonal imbalance with natural plant remedies. Plant medicine is very real, and it has been proven time and time again for hundreds of years now. I like to drink tea with calming herbal benefits before bedtime instead of taking supplements like melatonin, since they can throw off your body's natural process. I recommend teas with valerian root, chamomile, lavender, passion flower, skullcap, and lemon balm. Ashwagandha is another magical herb that is known to help with stress. I usually take 2 veggie caps of ashwagandha daily with my allergy medication. I'm one of those people who can't settle around clutter or unfinished tasks, so I like to tidy up as I go before bed and make things easier for my future self. This lets me feel at peace at home and in myself. Your environment is a reflection of your inner state, and if your home is always a mess, then it could be a sign that your thoughts or emotions are going unchecked as well. Being busy is one thing, but being lazy is another. In the concept of creating the best version of myself, I chose to take care of my skin and body in the present moment. Things that I can control would be choosing to drink more water rather than any other beverage. I can also control the treatments of my skin by removing my makeup every day and using skincare products that work for me. My skin typically only changes during my cycle or when I'm traveling and being exposed to changing weather and water qualities. Because of that, if I stay consistent with my day-to-day habits, I know my skin will thank me and look how I want it to. I love spending time with my family, friends, and dog, though I also love to chat and explore. I'm naturally a very introverted person, and I find my social battery empties fairly quickly. Reflection on my daily life, experiences, and lessons from this school we call life are all areas I'm called to act in. Journaling and art are two of my favorite ways to process and decompress, which allow my inner self to feel refreshed. This sort of purges whatever I've been carrying with me to be able to be still and sleep with as little stress as possible. I find this ritual to be my biggest saving grace as an introverted and empathetic person. I highly recommend others with past hurts, insomnia, night terrors, or intense feelings to give this sort of brain dump a try and let me know if you feel any different. The biggest and best changes for my life come from the final steps before bedtime. Red light therapy paired with breath work and meditation. Red light therapy is still a fairly new treatment and is used for many different things ranging from skin health to healing bodily injuries. The few studies from NASA and the CDC are still understanding how exactly it can affect sleep cycles. The general idea of it within the subject of sleep benefits is that it could help increase melatonin before bed, possibly, since we are exposed to so many blue lights during the day, which lower melatonin production. It's possible that red light could cancel that out as a result because it's on the opposite side of blue on the spectrum of wavelengths. Even if it doesn't help melatonin or the circadian system, which is the body's natural internal clock, it does help to create a visually soft space after all the bright screen time and harsh lighting we encounter in the world. I don't keep my lights on all night, as that was shown to disrupt sleep patterns in the studies published, but in the last hour or so before bedtime, I will switch all of my LED mood lighting over from purple to red and turn off all my artificial lights. I have noticed improvements in hyperpigmentation in my skin and other areas of chronic pain that would often bother me into sleep, and for that alone, I plan to continue to use red light. Look into it more on your own if that is something you're curious about too. And for meditation, I've been training myself to meditate for around 2 years now. It's definitely a learned skill, which I didn't fully understand at first. It's really easy to sit with your eyes closed, but to remain still and undistracted by your environment and thoughts is where the challenge comes in. It took a few months to feel like I had reached the place where I could shut everything around me out, and months more still to quiet my internal landscape. There are endless guided meditations on YouTube or podcast sites that are super easy to follow, and plenty of them are under 5 to 10 minutes too. Breathwork is actual magic, I swear. Breathing is the easiest way to reset the nervous system and turn off survival mode in the body. Survival mode, aka flight, fight, or freeze, is the instinctual response to a perceived threat. You can have this defense triggered in situations where you feel out of control or that remind you of past dangers, whether you want it to or not, and it becomes more easily brought up again and again after experiencing certain hardships because the brain has one main goal, which is to keep you safe. These feelings of vulnerability can build up to the point of burnout or breakdown if you don't find a way to replace them with new feelings. There are many techniques that you can try. My personal favorite is box breathing. Use one set amount of time, say 5 seconds. So inhale for 5 seconds, hold your breath for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds, hold your breath for 5 seconds, and repeat as many times as you like. I can literally feel the racing thoughts or anxiety leaving my body as I complete this process. Sometimes I'll even fall asleep mid-session because I end up so relaxed. I wish everyone knew about this practice because I truly feel like it can make everyone's life a little bit more peaceful, and there are so many different practices and concepts that were always applied to daily life and health and well-being that we've just kind of lost in this modern society. If there's one thing to take away from this and apply to yourself, please let it be breath work. I truly hope that this has been insightful, helpful, and inspirational. I hope by seeing my own learnings, you can find ways to improve your habits and create a better life. Stay sincere, be happy, and live life like art, beautiful people. Sweet dreams.